Hey everybody, Dr. Nick here with another public sexual announcement for you for February the 2nd, 2023. And let me ask you a quick question. Did you have your orgasm today? If you have, well, good. If you haven't, don't forget. You got me? So, in this PSA, I just want to talk to you about something that I heard about while I was listening to another podcast. It was about reclaiming each other after a swinger session or a group sex session. Now, hear me out. I understand that most people out there, this is just not for you guys because you're not in that lifestyle community. And for those of you who are in that lifestyle community, you probably know all this stuff anyhow. Maybe, I will say a few things that will just stick in your pocket and you can take with you and you can add to your own sexual adventure or your own sexual toolbox for that matter. So on this quick PSA, let's talk about reclaiming each other and reconnecting after a swingers party. So as I was gathering information for this quick podcast, I went to a website called swingershelp.com, and they had a very nice article on how to reconnect after a swingers party. And yes, people call it reconnecting or reclaiming, and I'm learning that some people seem to use those terms interchangeably, but whatever works for you, it works for you. And at the same time, since I am really not in the lifestyle community, I learned that there seems to be I learned that there are two main types, or that there are two types of reconnecting. There's the mental reconnection and the physical reconnection after a play party. To begin, swingershelp.com suggests that you talk about or debrief each other on some of the events that went down at the swingers party. Now, granted, if you two are swinging together, swinging with each other and having a good time like that, you probably have an overall sense of what happened. But for whatever reason, if you two are separated and you go to different spots in the club or whatever, and you're playing separately, you may have some stories to tell, good and bad. But at the same time, just let me say this too. If you do have nice stories to tell, or stories to tell, period, don't always focus on the negative, because during this debrief or this conversation, it seems like the goal here is for you to basically just reconnect with each other on an intimate level for your relationship outside of swinging. So in other words, it's like you're going back to your normal lives and your normal level of intimacy. So if you're going to share these stories, don't always focus on the negative. Some person was kind of rough with you and they just didn't know what they were doing or whatever. Trust me, those things happen. I've heard the stories. But also, just to try to balance things out here, kind of add some stories that are kind of fun and light and actually may even make you laugh. Or you can tell your partner how this one person helped you have a really nice orgasm. So yes, the mental reconnection or the mental reclaiming is very important coming out of a swingers party. And secondly, we had the physical reconnection or the physical reclaiming after a swingers party. And please keep in mind, this may look different for everyone out there because some people can just reconnect physically just by holding hands or by kissing or by looking deeply into each other's eyes for a moment of time or whatever. And they are able just to snap their fingers and they're back together again on that deep, intimate level. Physical level even. And then on the flip side, there are those couples who actually need to have sex soon after, just so that they can reconnect on that same level. But at the same time, let me say this, swingershelp.com also recommends that if you're going to reconnect, that it's done sooner than later. So if you need to have sex in the car on the way home from the swingers party, well, shit, who am I to say no? And so, as I close out this quick PSA, I just happened to notice that at the very end of this swingershope.com article, they happen to add a quick little bonus tip. Whereas some couples out there added a small little ritual to the end of their swinging session. Like, for example, some couples, right after the swinging session ends, they go to McDonald's and they get some Big Macs, some fries, some shakes, and whatever, and they go home and they'll eat that together. Or they may take a bath together, or bathe together rather. They may take a shower together, or the next morning they may make a special breakfast that basically signifies the end of that swinging session. But I find that pretty nice that they're able to basically just like ritualize a certain aspect of their lifestyle, which kind of puts a closing on that swinging event for them. And at the same time, it helps them to reclaim each other and to reconnect. So, on that note, I'm out. You guys have a great day. Stay tuned, and I'll talk to you soon.